So this is a story how I almost got fired as a software engineer. So this was me after college, just graduated, fresh out of college, and this is me going into my first job, and the company was called ChargeHub. They were a company focused for EV drivers. They created an app for EV drivers where you could find charging stations around you, or if you had a trip and you had an electric car, then you could find charging stations along your trip. It was a startup, and the people over there were super cool, and the company was close to my house, so everything was perfect for a first job. And at this job, fresh out of college, I was a completely beginner. I didn't know much about coding. I was super excited. I want to learn everything and do everything. And by that, I wasn't really following the best practices. I just want to build things really fast. I want to ship things really fast. While this was good, maybe to in terms of quantity, the quality of my code of or the things I was doing wasn't really the best. So it came a time where at the company we had an old system and we wanted to migrate this old system to this new system, and this new system would use MongoDB. And so everything was migrated from the old system into the new system. So specifically, we had a users table which we want to migrate into MongoDB, and now we had a fresh new table. Well, we had our all old data for from our users table now into MongoDB. So now everything was fresh into MongoDB, and I was tasked to actually improve a feature inside the app or inside the database where we're doing some function or some algorithm, and the algorithm wasn't too fast, so I had the task to actually improve that algorithm. And I didn't know any MongoDB. This was the first time I was working with MongoDB, and like I was doing before, like I said before, I was just coding really fast. I was running queries here and there. I wasn't really reading documentation while I should have. I was just doing things, and while doing things I was learning them. And again, I was really excited to do all of these things. I was just really excited to learn because this was my first job. I really wanted to, in some ways, I wanted to prove myself and prove others at the company that okay, I'm actually a valuable member of the team. So again, just doing things really fast, and this actually improved the speed. They actually improved the speed of the algorithm. um and I was happy. I was like, okay, what I'm doing is actually working. Running these queries and learning at the same time is actually working because look, I improved the function and now things are running much faster because of me. I was super happy. I showed my boss, and my boss was proud of me. He was like, oh, okay, this is pretty nice. This is your first time that you're working with MongoDB, and you learned all of this, and you even improved the function. So good job. But I wasn't satisfied. I want more. I thought to myself, okay, so if my first try I was able to improve the speed of the function, why should I just stop here? Let's just continue more and see where it goes. Maybe I could improve this thing a lot more than just I don't know at that time. Maybe it was a double the speed. Let's try 10x this whole thing. I really want more. I was greedy. I really want to show off, I guess, at this point. So I didn't tell my boss. I didn't tell my boss that I was gonna continue working on this, and I just continued improving. I just did the same thing, and the speed got even better. It got way faster, and I was real proud. I was like, okay, this is like magical. Like I'm the thing now. I'm writing code that's super fast, and things are going super fast, and all the queries are going fast. Now the function is like blazing fast. But at some point, I was like, okay, this is getting weird. This is way too fast. It shouldn't be this fast. And I was suspicious, and I was right of being suspicious because this was too fast. Because I realized that everything was fast because I deleted everything. The users table that we were trying to migrate from the old system into the new system, I deleted everything into the new system. And this is why things were going so fast, because there was no users in the users table. So whatever I would do, all the queries would just all the functions, all the queries would just run in a split second, because there was nothing to process. So without going into too many details, but like your computer, for example, if you have a lot of things on your storage, it's just normal for your computer to just get slower over time, because it needs to store all of this information and index everything properly so you can get the right file. You can process things normally on your computer. While if you remember, you get your laptop at first, things are super fast, but while you keep your laptop and you get more files and you get more pictures and you get more things on your laptop, then over time it gets slower. And it's the same thing for your phone. So going back to the story, I deleted everything, um, and everything was going fast. I was like, okay, so I messed up. Is that what I messed up? Is that really what I did? I was like, no, that's not possible. Did I really delete a production table, the users table, probably the most important table? Without this table, people couldn't log in into their account. People couldn't do a lot of the functions, because it's really that table, the users table, that enables all the functions for people that have an account inside the app. So I was like, there's no way I did that. I double checked like 20 times. I logged out from MongoDB. I relogged in back in, and I looked at the users table, and I saw that the users table just was completely empty. I changed browsers, but again, the users table was completely empty, and everything was on production. I double checked that maybe I was on like a development database, a test database, but no, I was on the real production database, the database that real people use to log in and do whatever they need to do on the app. So at that point, I just realized what I'd done, and I was like, man, I completely messed up. I did something that's so bad, and there were so many things running on my mind. If you were there and saw me over there, you could see my face was bright red, and I was so hot. I felt like I was boiling, because of how I realized how much I failed, and how much I messed up. I was thinking things like, oh man, like uh, I just hurt the company. They spent all these years, collecting users and making sure that people register into their app, and they built this nice app and all this. And now I just deleted everything, like years worth of work in just a split second. And I was like, also, okay, I'm gonna lose my job. This is it for me. I'm going to lose my job. While I was getting all of these things, and these things were all running on my mind, I I did anything else, I just told myself, you know what, I need to tell someone. And the best person to tell was this CTO at that time, the one I was working under, my boss. And I told him immediately. I said, look, I messed up. This is what I did. I did this and that. How can I fix it? How can you fix it? Like, please help me. Um, I messed up, and I felt so stupid at that time. Not because I told him. I think that was a very good decision of me. But the entire thing before that, like how I was doing everything on production, and I wasn't really checking my code. I was just doing things so fast. So I told him I messed up, and my boss, without really saying anything, he just checked everything. He opened his laptop. He did the same thing as me. He went into MongoDB. He looked at the user table, and he's like, "Yeah, you deleted everything." But he stayed cool the entire time. He never put me down, or said anything bad to me, or things that would make me feel ashamed. He just stayed cool the entire time. And I was at that point, I didn't know how to react. I was expecting maybe him. I was expecting him to maybe say something to me at least, but he just stayed cool the entire time. And then he opened another tab, and he went into the MongoDB backups, and he said, look, our backup from 1 hour ago, let's restore it. And after he restored it, everything was back to normal. We had our users table back, and everything was working back as normal. And well, he did fix everything. We did lose a tiny bit of data because after that hour, there was a period where people still registered, but they lost their account because the last backup was 1 hour ago. But still, it was a lot better than losing everything. So in the end, just casually, he just gave me a simple advice. He's like, "Hey, Mansoor, maybe next time work on a development database." And that's it. He just went back into his work, just went back into doing his own things. And the development database over here, like I explained, it's like a test database where you could do every test that you want, deleting things and adding things, and it wouldn't affect the real production database that people actually use inside the application. He just gave me that simple advice and then went back into his work. And I was feeling so relieved. I was like, man, this guy just saved my life. Um, like I messed up so bad, and now he just fixed things like super quick, and now everything is back to normal. I was relieved that I still had a job, and no one was there to tell me like you messed up really bad. We can't have you in this team anymore. And another good thing was that no one else knew about this. No one else. It was just me and my boss, the CTO, and no one else. And yeah, and so far no one knew about this on this until this video. And just to end this off, what my boss did, how he handled the entire situation, I think is very admirable. I think he kept it really professional. He made sure that um, he gave me an advice telling me that okay, in a way that look, I we both know you messed up, but he didn't say it in a way where he tried to put me down. He said it very simply, like try to do this thing next time. Like he gave me a suggestion of how to work better next time, but he did it in a friendly way. I think that is very admirable. So that is it for the story on where when I almost got fired from my first job, but I didn't in the end. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.